Hi guys, thanks for clicking onto our video today. We just want to talk about the stigma that's attached to men finding it weak to ask for help. And I wanted Glenn to be part of the video today because I really want him to give a male perspective and share his journey and how it's not weak to actually speak up and ask for help.
Yeah, this video is mainly for the blokes that had the old school father mentality growing up. For example, myself, my father was a real hard ass, and he virtually told me by the age of 10 that you no longer cry. You're becoming a man now, and men don't cry, and it's a form of weakness. We also were told not to, therapy's for girls, and you suppress it and you move forward. And what essentially happens over time with 99% of blokes is that we end up just building up, and it builds up until we explode, and generally get in fist fights or drown it with alcohol, drugs and cigarettes and you name it, and then it just creates this pattern that just goes on and on and on. And funny, as I got older, I look back and realised that all my father had done for me, and I'm not saying this just to put him down because that's all he knew, but all he had done is created himself within me, and I just followed the same traits. So I realised by the time I had kids that I really wanted them to be able to get help, and if they had issues that they could talk about it, and then if they had to cry, they had to cry. It wasn't a weak thing to do. It's just a release and move on and deal with the issue and go from there.
And I guess the reason why we've made this video today is for several reasons, because if you're a parent out there and you have a young boy, starting young with them and teaching them how to express how they're feeling in a really constructive way. I mean, boys do have a little bit more of an angry emotion sometimes, because just with the testosterone that's flowing through their body, and when they're a teenager, that can come into play. But it's really teaching them from a young age how to express that anger in a constructive way. Making sure that they've got like a punching bag where they can go and punch out what they're feeling if it's a physiological reaction. But it's also sitting with them and asking them, how do you feel? It's so important. If you teach them from a young age and you create that belief system, when they become a teenager, they can actually tap into what they're feeling and they can come up with their own solution. And so, if you're a father out there and you've got a young son and you're struggling with this because you weren't given the tools, maybe you should go and seek someone that can help you, tap into what you're feeling so that you can express that emotion and heal that part of your life from when you were younger and how your father had instilled those belief systems for you.
And for the blokes out there that are saying real men don't get help and we don't need it and all that type of stuff, I can assure you, I know some of the hardest blokes getting around, some of the best fighters getting around, and they're in regular therapy dealing with stuff from their youth and childhood, whether it be that they were beaten to a pulp as teenagers or other forms of abuse, and they just realise that they don't want to feel like crap every day of their life, and they don't want to explode, and they don't want to end up in jail, so they realise that they have to deal with this stuff. And the people, the blokes that just continue to drown it with alcohol and drugs, it just, like I said before, it's just that same pattern that repeats over and over again because they don't want to step out and do something about it because of that stigma of it being weak, and they find that they're too scared to go to marriage counselling, and then their marriages break up, and they don't want to fix things with their mates because they don't want to look like the weak side of the argument, instead of just really having the balls to be the real man in my eyes and face your fears and push through all those demons that are coming to the surface that you are using the alcohol and drugs to suppress and get on top of it.
And so I just wanted to talk a little bit more about anger, because a lot of men that I see within my clinic, they come in and the main thing is that they just don't know what to do with their anger. Anger is not necessarily the primary emotion that you're feeling. The anger is what you're expressing, but there's always an underlying emotion attached to that. And it could be sadness, it could be fear, it could be rejection, it could be numerous different emotions, but because you're not able to, tap into what you're feeling because you were told from as a young child that you're not allowed to share those emotions, you've got to be a man, you're not allowed to cry. So that sadness and that rejection or whatever it is becomes anger. And then if that anger's not expressed properly, it becomes rage. And that's when you can start to become, quite violent. So I think that you know, it's really important that you seek the right help and start to, you know, tap into what you're feeling. It's really not weak to feel emotions.
So yeah, we'll probably just leave it at that, and just wanted to make this short video just for a lot of blokes out there that are really struggling with issues in their life. You're not the only one going through it, and it just ain't weak. As the way I've always seen it, I've actually seen it this way since I was young. Blokes go to the gym every day and pump iron and pump weights, working on your physical bodies. Why not work on your mental health? Because you need both to work together. So I see you keep your body good and your mind sharp, and everything will work together, but you can't be a mess in the mind and just work on your body. To me, it just doesn't make a great deal of sense. But it's certainly not a weak thing to go and speak to someone and you know, work through the stuff that you're dealing with. And then why walk through life feeling like shit every day of the week when there's options out there, especially these days with the internet and the amount of things you can do and services that are out there.
So thanks for watching, and I hope that, you know, you've got something out of this video today. And please feel free to send us any messages if you need help. We'll be more than happy to help you. So thanks for watching.
Thanks.